I want to teach you how to become positive without slipping into toxic positivity. I have seen a lot of people starting to get more positive lately, and I love that. I love seeing people try to see things from a higher and more positive perspective. But something that I have been seeing that I kind of don't like is toxic positivity, where someone will tell you that they're going through a rough time, and you'll say, well, at least you have this time to go through rough. Examples like when someone says, oh, I'm tired all the time and I'm always working so I can pay off my bills. You need to be happy that you have jobs that you can pay those bills. Yes, we get it. It is great to be able to pay your bills. It is great to be able to have bills, because remember, if you have bills, that means you have services. That means that someone is doing a service for you. So it is a good thing. However, it doesn't address the issue of me being tired because I'm always working to pay these bills. So instead, what we want to do is we want to say, I could definitely understand how that might be kind of frustrating. Yeah. Acknowledge that they are going through a tough time. Don't just tell them, oh, well, you should be grateful for going through your tough time. At least acknowledge that they are having a time right now. That's the first thing. The second thing is, after you acknowledge it, after you validate their feelings, you can say, well, I understand that you're going through a tough time right now, but girl, if you really feel like you need to, girl, you better quit that job and take some of those bills off your plate. It's always a way that you could get around being tired all the time. Remember, this is your life. If you don't need to have the top premium cable package. You don't need to drive the nicest car. You don't need to live in the best house. All I'm saying is, if you need to downsize so that you feel like you can handle your bills better but still have work-life balance, girl, you got this. Whatever you decide to do, I know you're going to be able to get through it. And trust me, it's going to work out for your favor. That's one thing. You better speak that into existence. You better tell yourself, regardless of what I decide to choose, it's going to work out for my good. Hold on. Not her driving slow just to be in my camera, y'all. People are funny. Like, you'll never see this unless you know me. I don't know that neighbor. Anyway, what I'm saying is, stop making people feel as though they don't have the right to have feelings other than positivity. People cannot be happy all the time. People cannot sit up there and change every single thing that they see into a positive moment right then and there. Sometimes people just have to feel. And that's another thing. Toxic positivity will lead you to disconnect from your true emotions. Remember, the way to manifest, the way to create your reality is through your feelings. So if you disconnect from your feelings because you want to make everything positive all the time, you will have a rougher time manifesting. That's something that I'm personally working on. How you doing? How y'all doing? I'm personally working on not disconnecting from my feelings so that I can use my feelings to manifest my reality. You cannot manifest off of false feelings. You cannot manifest off of fake positivity. You have to be real. The only real way to make your feelings feel positive is to acknowledge the ones that don't feel good. If you're going through a rough time, it's okay to say, hey, I'm going through a rough time. But after you say that, you say, I'm getting through this rough time. I've gotten through this rough time. That's how I am. I'm going to speak over my life. Yeah, I'm going to acknowledge that I'm going through some things. But then I'm also going to acknowledge that I got the power to get through it. Not only that, but I'm going to remind myself of everything I ever had to go through. And I'm going to say, if you've been through this, that, girl, bye. This rough time don't seem that rough no more, do it? Right. So go ahead, cry, get those tears out, do what you need to do. You want to eat some ice cream? Go eat that ice cream, girl. But afterwards, we're going to sit down, we're going to pray about it, we're going to manifest, we're going to speak over our life, we're going to get on the treadmill if we did eat that ice cream. Whatever the case, Whatever the case, we're going to take back the control and we're going to remind ourselves to think of things from a positive standpoint, because that is the best way to bring more positivity into your life. But don't be fake about it. That toxic positivity, we don't need that, because all that is just switching one thing for another. For me, I got raised up in the church. So I'm just switching the guilt of being a sinner into the guilt of not thinking positive. I don't want the guilt. The guilt is the problem, because guilt is low vibrational. If you feel as though you are struggling to be positive, you might be struggling because you're trying to be positive. Sometimes the first step to being positive is just acknowledge where you at. Let's say that you don't feel well. Maybe you got a little don't sit up there and say, well, I'm healthy and I'm happy to be healthy, if that's not real. Because all you're doing is just putting fake into the universe. The universe don't listen to fake. It listen to frequency. If your frequency is saying, I don't feel good, then that's what it's going to listen to. So acknowledge it. I'm not feeling my best. However, I have herbs, I have tea, I have medicine. I can go for a walk. I can clear this up. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to make sure that my body stays as healthy as it is and even healthier. And then that's when you start speaking over yourself. Acknowledge it, and then you can start changing that energy. But if you don't acknowledge the energy, how can you ever change it? That toxic positivity, we don't do that around here. We acknowledge when we need to go ahead and take a break. We acknowledge when we feel the discomfort. But we don't let the discomfort stop us, and we definitely don't let it shape our reality. I want y'all to have a fantastic day. Remember, it's up to you, no one else.